for another live stream tonight. And I tried to do a live stream earlier, realized there was some type of issue that took place with Mobcam. Kind of a little frustrated with it right now because I had been using it, and Saturday we had some video we shot when Joe, Eric, and Todd were here. It didn't fully show up. We lost signal at one point, but we brought it back up. And then tonight, I was trying to shoot a review of some of the beers I was doing on that flight. It only caught like the first, I think, 2 minutes of it, and it was like a 20-minute video. So anyway, just went ahead and unlisted that video, but decided to do another video upload for tonight. And tonight I'm going to take a look at one from Bell's Brewery, and this is their Sparkleberry. So I've had this for a bit of time, wanted to actually check it out for a while, but with so many beers, did not get around to it. It is a raspberry Belgian style ale, Belgian style triple ale brewed with raspberries. On the can, it makes note of slightly tart and effervescent with a ruby red hue, sparkle on. So this one actually comes in with an ABV, as you can see there, of 9%, which is nice. Shelf life, 6 months. They do put a date on the bottom of the can, which is something we always love to see, a date on the can. Cheers, Billy. So they give you the date and they tell you the shelf life. Pretty good. Interesting thing on the side of the can, it says Puerto Rico, do not litter. Does Puerto Rico have a littering issue we don't know about? Don't know, but it just says Puerto Rico, do not litter. I don't know why they're singling Puerto Rico out. Brewed and canned by Bell's Brewery, Comstock, Michigan. Let's get this baby into a glass, see what it has to offer. Yes, Billy, does sound delicious and interesting for sure. I had heard a lot about it previously when I picked it up, and it's like so many beers in the cooler, didn't get around to checking it out really until now. So I'll go ahead and sit that here. Put it over here. I think you might be able to see it in the background. So there we go. Nice color on it. Kind of a ruby reddish type color. As you can see, it might come to a little bit darker on the screen than it actually is. Kind of a little bit of a darker kind of rosé. Nice head on it. Came out to be about a almost 2-finger head that you have there with some nice foaminess. Has nice purplish type tones. Some good foaminess there. The bubbles are starting to break down a little bit. Nice aroma. You definitely get a nice whiff of the tartness and the sour in play here. Easily get the raspberry aroma coming out of this beer. Smells really good. Almost smells like a type of candy. Get a little bit of a yeast in the background. But really that tartness and that raspberry takes everything. Let's get the taste. Get a nice tart feel to it. Cheers, Alex. Welcome, my friend. You can really feel that in the back of the throat. It's got a nice acidity to it and astringency to it, kind of drawing me into suck the cheeks and the lips a little bit there. Big amount of tartness, though. I will say, if you're not a huge tart fan, this is one that you probably want to go ahead and pass on because you do feel that really nicely on this one. Flavor duration, it lasts around for a little bit of time. I would probably say average or maybe slightly less than average before it kind of disappears out. You can really feel that effervescence feel in the mouth as you hold it. Bubbles kind of dancing on the tongue a little bit. A little bit of a harshness on the back end as it goes down on the swallow. To the front of the tongue, I really pick up the nice feel of the raspberries. A little bit of a pucker sensation in there with the tartness. But it does come together rather nicely. But like I said, you got to be a tart fan, I think, to really enjoy this one. And even for some of the tart fans, I'm not sure if you're going to fully enjoy it as much because it does have a harsh feel to it. No escaping the acidity or the astringency for sure. Can now feel it to the front of the mouth, behind the lips, also just in front of the cheek area. You almost want to have a little bit of water maybe on the side to kind of break it up a little bit, in my opinion. If I had a glass of water here, I'd probably work it in a little bit more. But yeah, that's a good point. Billy said, sounds delicious. I love your sour style beers. They remind me of wine. And I can see this as actually kind of being tempered that way as well. And it's one you kind of want to sit back and also enjoy. Like I said, this one is a 9% ABV, but it's definitely one to sit back and take it in for a little bit. Not one you really want to rush through. And for Bell's, they put it out in a nice pint-sized can here so you can enjoy it. The wine feel is definitely there, Billy. I mean, that berry feel, when you take that initial taste of it, the berries come through right up front. And if you think of some of the wines that you may have, you kind of get that type of feel with some of the grape type feel of those wines. And it just hits like that front of the tongue. And then it just, on the back end, starts to dry out some, goes down. You feel it, like I said, with that harshness in the throat, and it kind of settles. But it's definitely got a unique tartness to it. And again, this one, they call it a Belgian style triple ale. So I don't pick up a lot of the qualities I have from some of the other Belgian outside of a little bit of a yeastiness in there, like when I did the aroma. But I can feel a little bit of drying right here in the mouth right now too. Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, the 9% is definitely high, and Bell's likes to make some of these big beers. Billy has said we live in an agricultural coastal area, and people just throw trash out the windows of their cars. Also, some people that are getting ready for the dump on our street will have stuff come out the back. Yeah, I thought it was just funny that it said Puerto Rico, do not litter. Like Puerto Rico is the only place with littering or something. Kind of interesting they have that on the can there. I mean, obviously, I guess Bell's gets distribution in Puerto Rico. That if people pick this up in Puerto Rico, they don't have to litter with it. But just interesting. Not as bad as the city by any means. Yeah, I bet. Some of the city stuff that people throw away in litter is kind of crazy. People should take pride in their cities. You do get some nice lacing, I will say, on the glass as well, as you can see there. So appearance wise, does have a nice appearance there. That effervescent feel kind of reminds me a little bit of a champagne and how that bubble action is taking place. Um, I guess you nowadays you can kind of relate it to a little bit of how the brewed IPAs and what they're doing, but it's just it's a unique, interesting type feel with this one. I always appreciate when breweries try different things that are kind of out of the norm. They've kind of done it with this one here. Like I said, I don't know if it's going to be a big hitter for them. I don't know how much they've done with it thus far, but I can definitely see this being one again for an acquired type taste. You're obviously not marketing this to a large spectrum of your beer drinkers, but those that kind of appreciate things along these lines that might go like the brewed IPA type route, or like Billy mentioned, wine. Some of the wine beer type drinkers might appreciate this a little bit more than your standard beer drinker. Kind of a risky play considering what you may focus on as a brewery for what you're trying to do for sales. So hopefully this kind of pans out for them some, but definitely something a little different. Billy says, yeah, Belgian triples and quads. There's a nice barrel aged quad at third, way brewing in Delaware. Alan says cheers as well. So welcome, Alan. Decided to do an upload here because I tried to do an upload earlier when I did a visit to Braxton Labs, and I was sharing the flight of beers I actually picked up there. And for whatever reason, Mobcam ended up crashing out on me. So it was only like 2 minutes of a 20-minute video. I said, I'll do another video when I get home. But one beer I did find out that I really liked on there was the one from Evil Twin and their Grand Cru Cuvée. That's actually out now. It was a really nice taster I had of it. And then I found that they're a party source for $7.99 for the pint, so I picked that up. So I'll be reviewing that one. But that one was really a tasty one that they've done a blend on. So I won't spoil it, but I'll bring that video to you guys here at some point as well. And Billy says the yeast used in Belgian strain would definitely be similar to champagne yeast. They can survive in high ABV environment. Yeah, right. So yeah, you have that with that type of thing there. So that's why, well, not just this one, but other Belgian type beers or Belgian beers themselves, you do pick up some of the qualities of that yeast coming through, kind of that champagne type yeast. But if you've had this one, let me know what you think of it. Leave a comment in the comment section so I know what you kind of thought of this beer. It's like I said, it's unique, it's different, it's something that just caught my attention that I wanted to give a try to, as I share here as well. As far as my own personal rating, I'd probably give this one here. Well, I say I will. I will when I put it on Untapped. I give this one here probably about 3.75 out of 5. So it's decent. It's unique enough. I do like sours, so for me, a little bit of a kick there as well, that I can actually personally enjoy this one. But it's not one that like knocks me back in any way or kind of makes me think about going out to get more of these along those lines. It's kind of one that I'll try now, sit back, enjoy, and then I'll move to the next one. But it is what it is. Again, this is the Bell's Sparkleberry, 9% ABV, a raspberry Belgian style ale. If you've had this one, let me know what you think. Put some comments in the comment section. And then Billy has said a high score. So, 3.75, it's a decent score in my mind. Now, people ask sometimes about the rating because people have different ratings and stuff. And Billy, you'd appreciate this because my background is kind of in financial. Well, it's been financial for a long time. So, if you look at how you actually rate beers out there, and even if you're on Untappd, look at your Untappd scores. So most of the time, you're going to have a curve on how you actually rate things. Most of your beers are going to be kind of toward that center and pushed out a little bit. You're going to have your outliers on the high score, outliers on your low score. So usually you're going to get a kind of curve like that. And for me, if you're an average beer or average decent beer, that's usually going to be like your 2.5 mark. So if you're good above that and everything, you're pushing out more to that. So you're going to get to the 3.5s, 3.75, 4, if you're really doing a nice, decent job. So 3.75 for me, it is a pretty good score. 4 for me is usually like pretty much a pickup. You need to pick that one up if you like that style. This one at 3.75 is a little short of that. I had one earlier that I mentioned, the Evil Twin. I gave that a 4.5. That's like a must-buy type situation. So this one kind of fits in. Yeah, a bell curve, exactly. So when I actually look at stuff now, because people have different ways they rate things out. Like some people will say, well, if you're giving this, you're only giving it like a D or a C or something like that. Everything. No, it's not. It's how you have your own system set up for how you appreciate scoring. Some people, they'll give a 4.5 or whatever because for them, that'll be a 90, which may be an A or an A minus. Some people would kind of look at it that. It's all a matter of how someone actually looks to score and actually rate their beers. And ratings themselves are all subjective anyway, so don't put too much into the ratings. I know some people go to the stores and they look at what the Untappd score is because some of these stores will put Untappd rated what the average rating is out there. Follow your palate. Make sure you like that style so you enjoy it, so you know what you're actually getting into. Some people get different beers and they're surprised by it. Like it might not be a style you enjoy, not yet. And sometimes palates will go up and down. You got to mature. So years ago, some people didn't like barley wines, and they came back now, and they do enjoy barley wines. So don't get caught up too much in ratings. So I tell people, everybody has their own personal thing on how they're doing it. Follow your palate and enjoy what you like. Drink what you like. Yeah, and Billy says, yeah, I used to be in the financial world, right? So, yeah, so for me, when you hear me talk about my personal rating, I'm kind of looking at it along the lines of your average being a 2.5 type beer. Like I would put Budweiser for me is around a 2.5 type beer. It does what it's supposed to do, but it doesn't do anything more than that for me. So for me, that's like a 2.5. You have your other beers that get close around there, depending, and it's not being set up for me to rate within the style. It's just a personal feel of how I like that beer for my personal enjoyment. If I was rating this to the style of which I don't even know the style for this one, I'd have to put it into the sour category. It might end up being in the sour category a rating that might be 3.5, 3.25 as far as how versus other sours I've actually had in some regard. Because if you're actually making a sour, I feel like there could be a point where it's too tart for most people to actually enjoy. So you may want to cut down a little bit on it or something along those lines. But as far as me to sit here and personally enjoy and appreciate it, yeah, 3.75 is what I would actually give this one. So that's all I'm going to say about that. And I would get off my soapbox or my beer box or whatever box I'm on right now. But anyway, if you've had this one, let me know what you think. Leave a comment in the comment section. Thanks for everybody that checked out the video. I look forward to catching up with you guys next time. Keep drinking those good craft beers. And remember, there's always time. Get your beer on. Tomorrow night, back live, Beer Flow Show, 9:15 Eastern. Cheers, everybody.